Okay. What are the guidelines you use when underwriting a deal? I find that the rents at times do not cover the underlying debt. Am I doing this wrong? If you're using a 12 house blueprint, no. If the rents won't cover the underlying debt, it's a deal killer for us. In fact, my students will tell you when they bring a deal to us, one of the first questions I ask is, what will it rent for? Okay, and that's because with the 12 house blueprint, we're looking for something, even if it's no equity, it doesn't matter. It can be a little bit underwater, and that's okay. Because our first option is going to be with seller financing. Even if there's no equity, we can make that work. Our underlying notes are usually somewhere between 2.5% to 4%. We're going to sell that with a contract for deed with an interest rate of somewhere between 6 and 9%. It's important we don't get more than $100, sometimes $200 a month over market rent. We want to make sure we can fill these houses. We'll sell those on contract for deed. In worst case scenario, the market tanks, the house loses value. We can't then sell it for what we owe. We will rent it. So it's important that the rent will cover the underlying debt. The big keys for us in the 12 house blueprint are, number one, that we aren't leaving a lot of cash in the deal. As the example that I gave earlier, you can pay realtors a commission on a $200,000 house. If we're expecting to get 10% down on a $200,000 house, we'll get about $20,000 down, $12,000 commission to a realtor. That leaves us another $8,000 to play with. Maybe the house needs carpets cleaned, maybe a little bit of paint. That's another $3,000 or $4,000. Maybe the seller needs a couple $1,000s to move, a little bit for marketing. We can still put somebody in that house, put a couple of $1,000s in our pocket, and then be collecting cash flow. So over the life of that seller finance deal, we can expect to make somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 in a no equity deal. Now, if that house, if the underlying debt, in fact, we looked at one yesterday. The seller seemed pretty motivated, but he's got a adjustable rate loan, and it's currently at 9%. That didn't make any sense at all. The underlying payment was $2,500 a month, so that wouldn't work. So no, you're not looking at that wrong. You want to make sure that in the worst case scenario, you can rent that house and still cash flow, or at least cover your expenses. You don't want to have to be coming out of pocket for that stuff. So no, I would say you're looking at that absolutely right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. While you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out these other great videos and podcast episodes.